to episode 13 of Sanj Surati Talks. It's been a while since the last episode, but I just want to say we've been really busy, but I'm sure you guys have been busy too. I want to thank everyone that's sharing us on social media. The hashtag again is Sanj Surati Talks, all one word. I have got a fantastic double act for you today. These guys are based out in the southwest of the United Kingdom in Devon. These guys have created a fantastic product. Please welcome to the stage Sarah and Geoff Yates, the founders of a wonderful drinks company called Sea Arch Limited.
Hi, Sanj.
Hey, guys.
Hiya, how are you? All right.
I'm all right. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, all good. We're just coming into our busy time of the year now, so the sort of run up to Christmas and then into dry January. So it's all hands to the pump at the moment.
Firstly, I just want to say thank you for you guys sending me that gift. I drank it with my wife last night, loved it. Tell us about Sea Arch.
We're a distilled non-alcoholic spirit. So it's quite a new concept and drink that's just come onto the scene recently, really. It's originally sort of started by a guy called Ben Branson, the Sea Arch Spirit side, by Ben Branson, who created Seedlip. And he created the category, really. It was an unknown idea. And that was about 2014. I think he brought it onto the scene, and that was a whole new concept, and it's really, really beginning to do really well, apart from the whole no and low area, which is growing all the time. But the non-alcoholic spirit is what we decided to do. We were inspired to do that when we had our wine bar in Torquay, which we had for about 4 years, up to the end of 2018. And we had more and more of our customers, although we were a wine bar, we sold lots of lovely alcoholic drinks and gins and wines and beers. We noticed that more and more people were increasingly asking us for a non-alcoholic alternative. I don't want to drink tonight, or I've had a couple, now I don't want to drink, I've got to work tomorrow, or whatever, and a whole load of reasons. And it's not just the sort of stereotypical I'm pregnant or I'm on medication. It's just because I don't want to drink. I don't want to feel rough tomorrow, or, I had a drink on Saturday, but now it's Thursday and I don't want to drink today. So more and more people were asking us for alternatives, and that got us thinking about this. And of course, we knew about the Seedlip idea and the spirit. So we decided to create our own. So with a lot of experimentation, which Geoff did a lot of in our own kitchen, actually. And because he's a pastry chef by trade, and so he used a lot of his sort of flavour experience to get a little still and start mixing things up a bit. And that was part of the idea. The inspiration, we're a very coastal orientated inspiration. We live right on the coast. In fact, I'm looking out the window now and I can see the sea. And Just around the headland in Tor Bay is a beautiful sea arch. It's actually called London Bridge. And that was sort of our inspiration, the glorious coastline that we live on. I actually grew up in Devon. So for me, I love the coast, love the coastline, and it is wonderful. So we took our inspiration with that, with our bottle, our beautiful blue bottle, our botanicals that we use. We use Samphire and sea kelp, which are all native to this local coastline. So we use them. It's 2 of the botanics. So that was our inspiration. That's how we sort of started to get up and going with it. But it's sort of been a long journey, which is still, it's very early days.
Yeah, so how long has the product been alive?
We came to market probably about 2 years ago.
Okay.
We could immediately see that the area that we were in was a growing one. So we gave the bottle a bit of a tweak, and the liquid, we wanted to make it as good as we could do, which I think we've achieved. So we've given the bottle more of a premium spirit feel to it. The liquid's probably as good as it. There's nothing better out there on the market. So I think we've achieved both of those. And so with the current offering that we actually launched that in July last year. So that's about 15 months ago, isn't it?
Wow, so it's still fresh, it's still exciting, lots of doors are opening. Is it a new market for you guys? Like, have you dabbled in that space before?
No, it's a new venture. There are certain similarities with what we've done before. So, like Sarah said, that my background's I'm a pastry chef, so I've been used to working with flavours and sort of working out how you achieve certain results from using different ingredients. So that's sort of my background. So in that respect, it was a bit of a departure, but the principles were still the same. But going into the drinks industry is something, other than being on the other side of the bar, is something that we haven't done before. So I guess that was one of the challenges, that you're going into an industry which is, I guess, renowned as being a bit of a tricky one. But, we'd taken a lot of the stuff that we'd learned over the years of being self-employed, over 30 odd years, with us, and applied those same principles, and feel like we're achieving what we're setting out to do.
The drink space, I'm assuming, is quite a traditional business space, particularly in the UK. But then my assumption is the distilled non-alcoholic spirit market is still quite new. It's still quite in its infancy. Is that right?
Yeah, it's quite niche. I think that there are, when obviously not this year, but last year, when we used to do food fairs and events, which were sort of customer facing, you could see you had to firstly try and sell the category before you could sell the product. And some people bought into the category of the non-alcoholic spirits, and other people don't. So there's a few, quite a few that are of the opinion, what's the point of that? That, if I don't want to drink, I'll just drink water. Whereas there are a surprisingly large amount of people that really do buy into it, into the more mindful sort of existence. The amount of people that we met over the course of last year that are moderating the drinking or had actually given up, it's surprising how many people there are, because I guess not drinking always been quite stigmatized.
Absolutely.
We used to see that when we had the bar, that there's always that, oh, go on, have a drink, what's wrong with you, and
boring if you're not drinking. And I think someone said, I think it's one of the few drugs that you have to justify not taking. And I think there is a growing sort of wellness field, definitely a growing area of the market of people wanting to look after their physical and mental well-being. And we all know, the negative effects of alcohol. So a lot of people are beginning to take on board more healthier options. But at the same time, I think with these, just having a non-alcoholic drink, it's having a non-alcoholic experience, the same parity as that of an alcoholic one. Obviously, you've not got the getting drunk effects, if you like, but you have got, that's where my experience comes in, is in the giving people a great experience. So you serve it in a beautiful glass, you use really good ice, you use great garnishes, you use quality mixers. So you're giving it's a premium product all the time. You're exuding this premium. So it's a great experience. It's not, I think we would go into a bar often, or you behind the bar are the beautiful gins and spirits, and they're all up high behind the bar, beautifully lit. And then your soft drinks were down low in some lower fridge. As sort of second-class citizens, we're trying to bring this non-alcoholic experience up. It's an elevated experience. It's a good experience. It's not second best. It's not, oh, I can't have the real thing, so I'll have that. It's premium. It's it's a really upgrading experience, not downgraded one.
I love it. I mean, it's very disruptive. You're challenging the standard ethos of what a drinking experience should be. And just some of the things you mentioned about how a lot of the non-alcoholic drinks are kind of hidden at the bottom of the fridge. And the fact that you're looking at that type of psychology, that user experience, and thinking about how to take your product out of that is very inspiring. It's very punk rock. I like it.
I think it's definitely the way forward, and I think it's the way to succeed in this category and make it succeed. It's aspirational. It's got to be that to work, I think. Yeah,
I think, like you said, Sanj, that it's disruptive, and I think going back not too long ago, there was quite a lot of resistance to the category from within the on-trade, because they saw it as competition, which isn't the case. I think within the on-trade, if you can get people into your establishment, doesn't matter what they're drinking, providing that they have a good experience. And you can see by the way that all the big drinks industries, they they've all got their versions of it, be it spirits or beers, and they can see that it's an area that's not going away. It's increasing, and as long as quality products come onto the market, it will continue to, the category will continue to grow.
I think there's a danger that there are some inferior products on the market which damages the category, because people who have a first touch with a product which is inferior, it's going to put them off the whole category, which is really a shame. That's why, we've got a premium product and people say, oh, it's expensive. How can it be so much money when it's not alcoholic, there's no duty on it? Well, I wouldn't call it expensive. It's 20. Our bottle is our 70cl bottle at like $24.95 RRP. But it's not easy to make. It's not cheap to make.
Right.
We've invested heavily in the actual liquid and the branding. So it's not a cheap product to make at all, but it takes a couple of months to make it.
So that's a very interesting point. That was one of the first things that went through my mind with regards to the price point of your product. I mean, it's a different type of experience. It's not an alcoholic experience. It could emulate that experience, if you're someone that's trying to calm down on your drinking or stop your drinking. But I don't think it's that type of product to me. It seems like something that you're supposed to enjoy. Again, this is an assumption from my perspective. It feels like what you're doing is bringing value to the customer. You're allowing them to have an experience they wouldn't thought about.
Yeah, it's about giving choice, isn't it? Whereas previously, when you weren't drinking, you'd have an orange juice or a Coke presented to you. So a sweet, fizzy kids drink, whereas now you've got choice. You've got an array of different options.
In these times of talking about equality and diversity, bringing these broad spectrum of drinks in that gives you all of that, it makes you feel inclusive. Everyone's included, whether you're drinking or not drinking, and it shouldn't be immediately obvious. It's not, you're not got this tall drink with a bit of lime and soda in it, and everyone else has got these beautifully garnished and glorious glassware with great drinks in. You are all on a par, and our drink must be presented with that same pizzazz as it would if it was an alcoholic drink.
Where do you start with something like this? So I'm not that au fait with the niche that you're working in, but I'm pretty sure that space is growing dramatically, because I've got lots of friends who don't drink and want to have a premium experience that makes them, as you say, feel included within the circle of drinking society that we have, particularly in this country. Where do you start to create something like this? Because it is still a very new dynamic within the drinking culture of this country.
Yeah, I mean, I think because we've worked for ourselves for 30 years in a couple of different businesses. So we've always been, we've always been in that area. So it's not like we've all of a sudden come from being employed to being self-employed. So we're used to working, and we appreciate what's involved with that. So I guess in that respect, we were sort of, the experience we'd got through those years of working for ourselves was stood us in good stead. And then it's just having the commitment to take the leap once you've had the idea and done some groundwork and you thought it through properly. I'm
not sure if you ever think it through properly enough. You wouldn't do any of them if you did that.
That's probably a benefit, isn't it? You never really know what lies ahead of you, otherwise you'd never do it.
Yep.
I guess it's just having the courage of your convictions to go for it. So this is our third business now. I guess they've been linked before. We had a frozen dessert business for 25 years.
Wow. Okay.
Which we just started.
1990. We started that,
and we grew that to having nationwide distribution. We had up to 50 odd people working for us. So we sold that 4.5 years ago now. And Sarah opened the wine bar that we had. And
I went back to university, actually, rather old, mature, I think they call it, don't they? Mature student. I went back to university and did a business degree. And our children had grown up. And so I went back to university and did a degree, and that sort of inspired me to do something with it. I spent 3 years working very, very hard to get the degree, and then I decided, or I was inspired to do a business of my own, really, and that's why I did the wine bar, which is linked to hospitality. I mean, we've always worked in hospitality. We're in hotels, restaurants, and then we set our own Gatter manufacturing business up. But we actually met in Germany in the Munich Hilton, so we travelled around Europe together from there.
Nice.
But the wine bar, was sort of something I wanted to do. It was a itch that I needed to scratch, I felt. So that was why I set that one up. It was a sort of neighbourhood wine bar. But it did really, really well over the 4 years. But it's very, very hard work. I was hands-on all the time, 24/7. It was, hospitality is a 24/7 sort of business, really.
And so that brought you back to the UK at what time? So you were in Germany and then...
Yeah, we were in Saudi at the time. We were going to go to Australia, ended up in Saudi. And then I got a job at the London Hilton. So we came back to England then. I was pastry chef at the London Hilton for 3 years. And then it was either go up to Blackpool, where I'm from, or come down to the southwest, where Sarah's from, to start a business.
So I heard that northern accent, so I was wondering.
Yeah, there wasn't too much of a debate. As lovely as Blackpool is, the southwest is absolutely beautiful.
Amazing.
I've been down here for 30 years now, so I've almost been accepted. But it's a lovely place to live. I wouldn't want to go anywhere else now.
I can imagine. Just with regards to the creative process of the product, you mentioned that it takes time to make the drink. So talk to us about that process.
Yeah, well, when we sort of had the idea of it, it was through seeing what was going on within the market. We've seen Seedlip just starting to grow. Our experiences of people coming into the bar and saying things like, when I come and order a gin and tonic, just give me a tonic. I don't want anybody to know that I'm not drinking. And you could see that there was that demand for products like that. So I got a little 2.5 litre still from Spain and started trying to extract flavours in different ways. So we distillation, steam distillation, maturation, where you soak the various botanics individually, tried blending them together. So I must have been doing that for about 6 months and just seeing what was achievable. And then through I guess through the experience of the patisserie, that we went to different areas to try and get different flavors and blend them together. And it took quite a while to come up with what we came up with, but the process of making and extracting the flavors is completely different to, say, normal alcohol production. So we individually extract the flavors as opposed to putting everything all together.
Yeah.
So we use different methods of extraction. So, like I say, distillation is one of the main ones. Alcohol is a great means of extracting flavor, but we use other mediums as well to extract flavor. To be able to call it non-alcoholic, it's got to be less than 0.5%, because that tiny bit of alcohol in there, which is probably the same as you get in orange juice or bread and in various other natural occurring products, it just gives it that little bit of extra sort of flavour, if you like. So there's a tiny bit in there, but like I say, no more than there is in orange juice or various other products.
Right. And then when did you get to a point where you were like, this is the one that I want to take to market?
That must have been 2.5 years ago.
End of 2018, wasn't it?
Yeah, around about that. And like I say, that we did I think it's like everything that you do is it Japanese philosophy of Kaizen, of constant improvement. Yeah. That wherever you are, that you never think you're there. You're always looking at ways of improving what you've got, which we did with the liquid, we did with the branding, and it's just constantly revisiting it. I guess if you think there's a way of improving something, you constantly look at it. So I think what we've got, I don't think we can improve it anymore, but that's not to say that we wouldn't do if at any stage we thought we could.
Yeah, I mean, we'll be looking to add to the portfolio. Like we've just brought 2 ready-to-drink cans on, which we call C&T in a can. So we're extending the family, if you like. We've got a smaller size bottle, a large bottle, and now we've brought on 2 cans. Amazing. And we'll probably introduce more flavours next year, another flavour maybe. So obviously looking to grow the portfolio, really.
I mean, that's remarkable. I mean, this sounds like a dream job. Like, seriously, I've spent a lot of time in quite a few wineries around France and Spain. And, you know, some of these products have been going on for like hundreds of years, and they have a kind of vibe. And I always thought, I wonder what it would be like just to kind of be in one of these tasting rooms where you're messing around with stuff to create something. It must be really fulfilling. And it sounds like you guys have hit it, and you're growing it very quickly, which is exciting.
I think, I mean, I'm quite creative, through what I've done before. So in that respect, it's an enjoyable challenge. But I think when you get to, you know, our sort of stage in life, if you like, it's refreshing to go off in a slight tangent, do something a little bit different to what you've done before, challenge yourself. Sometimes you sort of berate yourself for having done it, but the overriding feeling you get is that it is stimulating. I think you do need that stimulation to keep your mind active and challenge yourself in different ways. And even though it's not a complete departure, that we've gone into an arena that we've never been in before, and you know, it's interesting, and I guess it's not for everybody to do that, but it's, you know, we enjoy it. It's a great thing to be involved with.
Absolutely. And to be honest, nothing is for everybody. Whatever path you take, you will always find some people that are just not into what you're doing, and that's fine. You just got to kind of steer it towards the people that truly appreciate what it is that you're doing.
I think that's a difficult thing about having your own business, is you have to be quite resilient, but because you're so into that business, you eat it, sleep it, you know, all the time, it sort of becomes really, really personal.
Yeah.
You know, so close to you, so personal, your time and all your emotions invested in it, that it, you know, it's very difficult. You take everything personally, and that's the hard part, I think, of having your own business. I'm certainly guilty of that. You know, with the wine bar, everything was very personal, because you're so close to it.
You've developed this product over 6 months, you've packaged it, you've taken it to market. What was the first type of feedback that you got from the market?
I think I was at Imbibe UK, that Imbibe Live was one of the first.
Yeah, it was the first trade show we did.
Yeah, which was really good, wasn't it? We got great feedback from there. We didn't even have the product properly. We had one bottle, as in one actual bottle. We had product, but we didn't have the bottles, weren't finished. It was that real rush to try and do this sort of big national trade show. So we got there with the product, and we had fantastic interest and feedback. I think the market was ready for, you know, more non-alcoholic spirits to come. And so, yeah, no, it was really, really positive, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I think like we sort of touched on before, that there is sort of almost sort of 2 camps, and it's the people that buy into it and appreciate what the category is trying to achieve, and the ones that don't want to buy into those sort of that ethos. And so you got the people that embrace it and the ones that sort of shun it.
But I think that as it becomes more mainstream, which it is becoming, it's not so niche, it's becoming more and more mainstream. It's still very small relative to the alcohol industry, but it is growing, and it's growing in its how it's viewed. You know, the big companies are bringing out versions themselves, so that becomes more and more established and more accepted. Then people do start to look at it differently, I think, and become more accepting of it as being, you know, something that's out there and something to be enjoyed.
There are a lot of alcohol-free alternatives in the supermarket now, like, for example, for beer and wine, etc. What I find exciting is that was where you started. It's not like you're a business that's trying to be dynamic with the changing times. It feels like you guys are growing your own new market and engaging with it, which is really exciting.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the challenges that we face, like you just mentioned, the supermarkets, and the supermarkets have got those sort of those routes to market are closed off by the big brands, so that they get all their own variants of their non-alcoholic offerings into the supermarkets. So for a small independent company like ourselves, it's a lot trickier.
Yeah.
But over the last 6 months or 9 months, you can see that the area that's been given over to the non-alcoholic drinks has grown from one shelf to a whole section now. So you can see that there is that growing interest, and like they say, that a rising tide raises all boats. That you can see the interest within the category is good for us, even though we might not be in the super in Sainsbury's or Waitrose yet.
No, we are in.
We're just in with Ocado this week,
Oh, wow.
which is
Okay.
great news. But that's a good thing, and we embrace that, all the good drinks, and we're for that because it just raises the profile of the category.
Absolutely. And you've got a very strong narrative as well. You come from a customer-centric perspective, but also you have a product that is very elegant and, as you mentioned before, very aspirational, which is important.
I was going to say that we live in a fantastic part of the world, and we wanted to reflect that in the product, so that the whole thing, it sort of fits nicely together.
It's a very, very elegant drink. Just the complexity of the flavour it was very good. I was very surprised. Not that I thought it was going to be bad, because I saw your reviews and you've got really good reviews, but I was very impressed with the drink.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think a lot of it is getting people to try it with an open mind, and not be closed off to it. And it's a very enjoyable drink. And we, it's had lots of effort, lots of time put into it, invested a lot of our time and money into it to make a really, really good product that we are proud of.
So you guys are getting quite a lot of strong PR at the moment. And I saw that you guys were on This Morning. What was that experience like?
It was fantastic. We knew we were coming on there, but we didn't know when exactly it was going to be. And so I think we were actually in John Lewis at the time, weren't we, doing a pop-up shop actually in John Lewis in Dry January. And it started to come up on the socials. People were putting it up there, people putting it up. And so we didn't see it the day it came out or the time it came out. We saw it later that day. But it was just fabulous that they were so positive about our drink. We were first on there, and to see, Phil and Holly there drinking it and enjoying it, and Philip couldn't believe it. He said, "Is this really non-alcoholic?" And Holly was there saying, "Oh, it's delicious," and it was just really, really nice. Wasn't
very rewarding.
It was really rewarding because we didn't pay for that. We didn't. I think ITV approached us actually, which is unusual, isn't it? Normally the PRs are banging on all the doors to get in these places.
Yeah.
But they came to us, and then the lady who presented it, Helen McGinn, she actually does Saturday Kitchen and the drinks on Saturday Kitchen. She already knew our product and she really liked our product. So it was just fab, really, really good. And of course the orders started to come in big style as well,
wow,
which was great, for us. It was really, really good.
So how much product are you producing each year? I know it's only been a couple of years.
Well, I think over the last 9 months, everything that's happened with COVID, it's affected areas within the industry that we were in. So the on-trade and retail, it's obviously taken a big hit.
Right.
But on the other side of it, the positive side is that the e-commerce side, so everything online, has got a lot busier.
Right.
So I guess the two things have not balanced each other out, but it's not been a complete nightmare by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, and I think that people were saying, "Oh, everyone was rushing to the alcohol during the lockdown." Then they may be, and they were, but they were also rushing to the non-alcs as well, and that non-alc area of the market grew as well. And we found that certainly once everyone was over that sort of shock of it, then things did start to happen, and we did sell well online. And we've actually now are in the process of improving our online store. We are up onto Amazon Prime, and we're going to have our own shop front there.
Wow!
So we are realizing that this is a way forward that we need to be really heavily invested in, because people are changing their habits. I think even before COVID, more and more people were buying drinks online. It obviously makes sense to have it delivered to your door, heavy, they're heavy things, case of drinks. So to have them delivered to your door is much, much better than maybe trying to carry them across a car park, So I think more and more people were going online to purchase drinks, and we're available at quite a few online stores as well.
I work with quite a few digital agencies as a consultant, and all of them have seen a spike with their customers that deal with food and drink, particularly from a digital point of view, those that are looking to connect with the customer direct through their website. So as you say, it's not all doom and gloom with COVID. There are quite a few businesses actually that are thriving, that are really starting to grow with this new consumer behavior that's changing over this era.
Yeah,
you just got to embrace the new way of shopping and the new way of living, haven't you? It's I guess it's like in any business situation, you've got to evolve. You've got to be quick on your feet to adapt and to change. And I think we've just seen that over the last 9 months. And the businesses that will survive will be the ones that do that best, I think.
So just with regards to the product, it's matured in the sense that you've come up with something that you're happy with, it's packaged in the right way, it's gone out to market, and you're also starting to build new versions of the product, which you're going to bring to customers in the future. Who is your ideal customer, and what would they traditionally pair your product with from a food pairing point of view?
I mean, the ideal customer, I think, for me, because we also drink alcohol, we're not teetotal ourselves. I mean, for me, it's people who do both. They drink alcohol, but they sometimes don't want to say in the week, we don't drink alcohol, we drink alcohol at weekends, or I'm going out tonight, I'm going to have a couple of gins, then I'll go on to maybe a sea arch. People who mix it up are looking to cut back, but not necessarily abstain. But we also have a large following in the sober world. Agencies like Club Soda, we're part of that sort of big mindful drinking movement. We're part of that as well, as they support a lot of non-alcoholic drinks brands, which is great, that whole mindful drinking movement. But I feel that we are ourselves, we fit more into the category of people who are looking to cut back and be a little bit more healthy. So I would say pairing food-wise, you'd think of it more in the area of clean, healthy foods like fish. Again, we're coastal, so it's clean food as well as being a clean drink, as I would call us a clean drink. It's things that aren't high in sugar or fat. I would say it sits really nicely. You could have it with a bowl of mussels or even some oysters, something that's clean and healthy, I'd say. Healthy.
Has there been any surprises with regards to the customer base? The reason why I ask is when I was researching you guys yesterday, I went onto Instagram and was checking out a couple of hashtags that are associated with the products within the world that you guys, I thought, facilitated. And there was lots of, you mentioned sober initiatives that were kind of tied with the niche that your product is geared towards. Was that a surprise to you?
What, that the sober world would follow, would be interesting? No, I don't think at all. I think the sober world are absolutely loving all of this, these great new non-alcoholic drinks. I mean, you see that all the time. The comments are, oh, isn't it fab that so many more drinks have come onto the market that are non-alcoholic, gives us great options, great choices. So I think it works at encouraging more people who maybe wanted to cut down because there are great alternatives now. I remember in the wine bar, I'd get people who say, oh, I'm going home now. I've had enough. I'm bored. I'm not feeling part of the party. I'm not feeling part of the event. If I'm here with the friends who are drinking, I'm going to go now. So they want to feel that they're part of it, that they have some great drink experience. And you have all these different sites and different people who run, cocktail making classes and talk about what they're drinking and swapping drinks tips and all of this all in the non-alc world. Which is great.
Going back to just the customers that are coming to you, what's been the most interesting response you've had with regards to your product?
Most interesting response. I think what's always really rewarding is when you get somebody who probably hasn't totally bought into what it is, and then they try it, and you see that, oh, that's really nice. They're really surprised, where you've sort of almost changed their opinion of what they thought it was going to be, and then what it actually does taste like. So I think that's always a nice reaction.
Yeah, and I think you have people who typically buy it, I'm pregnant or my wife's pregnant, I bought it for her, and then they'd start drinking it as well, or they carry on drinking it after they've had the baby, so all that's good. It becomes a new habit, a new drink, not just a temporary sort of blip in their alcohol drinking.
Yeah. So it's funny, my wife doesn't drink gin at all, but we had it last night and I wanted her to try it and she loved it. She thought it was wonderful.
Good.
Yeah, it's great.
Which is interesting because, as you say, it's kind of exposing people to new ways to enjoy drinking, which is definitely important. So I just want to sort of touch on you two. You highlighted where you guys met in Germany. Talk to us about that. How did you guys meet?
Well, we both finished our respective college courses, probably about 300 miles separated. So I was down in Plymouth, I was in Blackpool. I think I'd been over in Germany a couple of years earlier. And then we were both working in the Munich Hilton. I was obviously in the kitchen. Sarah was in housekeeping.
So I went over there as a trainee housekeeper straight from catering college. And actually, I ended up, I think for the first 6 months, I probably cleaned toilets. I had bedrooms and made lots and lots and lots of beds. But it was a really good way to go over and travel.
So yeah, we travelled around Germany, went to a few different cities in Germany. We did a couple of seasons in Switzerland, so ski season and summer season. Went over to Saudi for 12 months, which was an experience in itself.
Yeah, I couldn't work there because of the laws for women working. So actually, spending some time working in the kindergarten, which wasn't really me at all. But I did it. weren't ready to have children at that point. So it's a bit frustrating and ironic, I suppose, isn't it, that we spent that time in a dry country.
That's right.
We both drank alcohol at the time anyway.
Here's a question. So when you guys met, did you think that in the future you'll be creating this interesting product that's disrupting the drinks industry?
Well, absolutely not, no. I guess you never really know what's around the corner, do you? I think we'd always fancied being self-employed deep down.
We talked a lot about a business of our own for a few years before we actually came back here and did it.
Right.
And we utilised the skills we had really with, Geoff being a pastry chef. That's what we ended up making desserts, which we sold initially locally and then all over the country. Yeah,
I think in a lot of businesses you go into, it's just that sort of right place, right time. And just at that time, hotels were moving away from making everything themselves to buying it in, because that was just around that time where you could start to buy some really good products in, good frozen products as well, which wasn't the case previous to that. And we just happened to hit it probably just as much through luck as judgment. That was just happening at the time. So the business took off. We just started it in a small unit, and then it sort of grew into something considerably bigger than that. That took, I think it's 26 years we did that for. So
wow,
that was it was a real interesting, sometimes a little bit tricky, but it's like any business. You always come across problems, and it's how you solve those problems, isn't it?
So just with regards to that business, you say you learned a lot from working in that space, and that's what you brought to the table with regards to Sea Arch Limited.
Yeah, I think it's just the general principle of creating products. As was with that business, I think we had about 130 different lines by the time we finished. So those were all created in-house. So it's the principles of product development, and then just the practicalities of running a business as well.
Yeah, I think again it's hard work, and resilience, and keep getting up. When you get knocked down, you have to keep getting up, because you do. There are some dark days. Whichever business we've had some very dark days in them.
I think everybody that's self-employed and got their own business will tell the same story, that it's not as easy as people who are outside of the industry think it is. You need quite a few qualities, and resilience being one of the main ones.
Over the next 12 months, what challenges do you think your business will be facing?
Well, I think that we alluded to earlier, that we're fighting against some of the real big players in the market, the Diageos and Pernod Ricards of this world. So that's always going to be a real David and Goliath battle, but I think there's always a room for small artisan producers. I think we can,
quality ones.
I think we can bring something different to the table. What we'd like to do is obviously get some larger accounts, which we are doing. As we mentioned earlier, that we've got an Ocado listing. It's just started this week, which is great. It's our first major account. So we'd like to continue on that path. And continue to grow and get the products out there, because we're pretty sure that when people try it, they'll like it.
Are you guys looking for investment?
I think we're just at that point where we're discussing it, because I think to compete on that stage, that you need some funding. So everything we've done so far has been self-funded.
Yeah.
So how we approach that challenge, it's something that we're going to be looking at.
Awesome. Well, I wish you guys the best of luck with that, because the product is fantastic, and I'm sure you guys will find that right financial partner at the right time. Just wanted to talk a little bit more about your past, particularly you, Sarah. So you won a Venus Award for your wine bar. What was that like, and what did that do for your career?
Well, it's the Venus Award is a Women in Business Award, and I was nominated. I think that was a really flattering thing, that I just was, head down, get on with the business, and I worked really hard, and it's very successful. Very, very busy wine bar, and I was nominated by somebody there, put up for this award. Actually, is a new startup business, so I was nominated for that, and I won it for Devon, and new businesses in Devon. So that was really lovely, a really nice thing to win. And it does give you some confidence. It's really nice to someone to pat you on the back. I didn't apply for the award or anything else. Someone else put me up for it. So it's nice to be recognised, isn't it? Sometimes and get get a pat on the back for the hard work that you do.
When was that?
Gosh, that was must have been something like 2015 or 16, I think. Okay. Something like 2015 or 16. And so, it was good. It was good for me. It was good to get the recognition. And, obviously I used it commercially as well, out there, which is really, really good to do.
And with regards to Sea Arch Limited, have you guys won any awards yet?
Yeah, we won a very prestigious award from Imbibe UK, which is a national award for their Low and No Taste Awards. They give awards out to alcoholic brands, and we were the first year that they've done. This was the first year, not 2020, that they've done No and Low category, and we were amongst the winners there. We got highly commended for white spirit, for our spirit, and that was judged by people recognised within the industry who know about these products now, because I think sometimes judging's done by people who really don't know the products at all. These were people within the industry, within the No and Low area, and so it's great.
We had a good one a couple of weeks ago with Men's Fitness. That we were up against a lot of the other good drinks within the category, and we came out on top on that one as well with us. So that was very rewarding. Amazing.
What has that done for your business?
I guess it just reaffirms where you'd like to think you are within the market, and it's just having that constant confirmation and just hearing that you are where you'd like to think you are.
We're just coming towards the end of the discussion. I've got just a few more questions I just wanted to ask you. First one, which I think is quite an important one. If you could impart some advice on a younger version of yourself before you got into becoming a professional, what is it that you would say to them?
Well, other than don't do it. Well, I mean, what do? You look back on the years that we've been doing it, and I think the word resilience we used earlier on. I think you need to have a good. You got to have thick skin.
I think you also need to go and speak to and research people who know about the subject, know about what it is you want to do, and research as much as you can, learning all the time before you actually go and do it, to find out as much as you can, really, to arm yourself and in all areas of it, and also try and to have mentors and take people on who know more about those things than you, because all areas of what you do, you're never going to be expert in all of them. So it's try and find people who are, to be alongside you, really. Particularly
you, Sarah, like if there's one bit of advice that you wish you had when you came into the industry, what would that be? I think it's finding out more information about it, really. I don't think we knew enough, but you probably never know enough, do you? That's the problem.
I think if you knew exactly what lay ahead of you, there's always a good reason for not doing something. Right. And I think it's getting over that. You can't do it because of this, and you can't do it because of that. I think it's making it work and having the courage of your convictions and the strength, you would have the mental strength to see it through.
A lot of determination, and I think as well. I mean, like actually, this business, like the last business, like the business before, several people did tell us, "Oh, that's not the right thing to do. You shouldn't do that," and still having your self-belief to actually do it, despite being told that it's not a good idea or it's not the right time or that won't work or whatever. I think you have to have some belief. At the same time, you have to balance that with some common sense and some knowledge and learning about what it is you want to do, so that you can make a good, well-informed decision as much as possible.
Awesome. Well, guys, look, we're coming to the end of this call. It's been fascinating. Seriously, I wish we had more time, because I just want to kind of pick your brains about the product. It's really cool. There's going to be people in here that want to get in contact with you. What's the best way for them to get in contact with you?
Through the website, you can go hello at seaarchdrinks.com. And then you can either address it to me or both of us or Geoff, whoever you want to.
Awesome. And you guys on any socials?
Yeah, we're across the board on the socials. C_Arch, Sea Arch Spirits on Facebook, and C_Arch again on Instagram. I'm also on LinkedIn if anyone wanted to link with me on there. And Sea Arch Drinks is also on LinkedIn.
Okay, well, guys, thanks so much for your time. You guys have been brilliant. Those of you that are listening, thanks so much for listening to us. I hope you guys got a lot of value out of what you've just heard. Please do share and subscribe. The hashtag for the discussion is Sanj Surati Talks. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, please be good.